How's it going, everybody? This is Maxwell McGee, and we are once again taking an updated look at the Bureau XCOM Declassified. To help me do that, here with my good friend Morgan Gray. Morgan, I know you're tired. I know you've been working hard, but you hanging in there?
I'm vertical, man. I'm hanging in there. I'm excited to be able to be here virtually, talking to everyone about the Bureau. It's cool.
So today's event, we sort of got to play XCOM from the beginning, and this is one of the sort of the very first missions we've been allowed to go on in the game. Why don't you go ahead and set this one up for us?
Sure thing. This mission's sort of the departure point. So we've gotten through the first tutorial level. We've met our main character, Agent William Carter. There, resplendent in fedora and backpack. Yes, resplendent.
Very period appropriate.
Yes, he's there with his agents. We've basically, this is your first dip in the deep end. You're in here with some brand new newbie agents. Carter's level 1. Mm-hmm. This first mission, XCOM's still trying to get its feet underneath it, get operational. You've been sent to recover effectively an expert in cryptology, Dr. Alan Weir from Rosemont University out in Georgia. And Carter and his squad have landed via Sky Ranger on this now deserted, slightly spooky collegiate street.
Yeah, because the aliens have shown up. They've pretty much been kicking our butts so far. They wiped out a huge military base in the opening campaign, and now we're trying to get, as you said, we're trying to get our feet under us so we can put together some kind of a counterattack.
Weapons ready. Let's go.
This can't be happening.
You there? You all right? Hey!
Can't be happening.
Christ!
Everyone's
Hold fire.
dead. Everyone's dead.
Falk, can you hear this? There's somebody here. Looks like one of the infected, but he's not hostile. It's like he's just, I don't know, switched off.
We'll need to examine him after the area is secure. Your priority is Dr. Weir. Keep moving.
The cool thing, kind of like in an Andromeda Strain vibe, XCOM as an organization had basically a Rolodex of people that once signed that government form at a convention years ago. Can we call you in a time of need? And they're like, sure, you got free swag. They just got the call. They're just wheeling in the wheelbarrows in the base, and then now we're out here. We're also seeing the effects of what we call the sleepwalker virus. The aliens, collectively known as the Outsiders, before their attack effectively infected the population of America, turning them into what we call sleepwalkers. Now, worst case, the best case, I would say, sort of catatonic people caught in a loop of the last moments before the infection took hold. Worst case, actual sleeper agents that can be activated and become sort of threats, antagonists, or puppets of the Outsiders themselves. Campaign structure is linked between these primary campaign missions that flow in a linear fashion and side missions, minor operations that are like elective quests. Like if you're we use a lot of RPGs analogies because we actually think the game's a hybrid between sort of squad-based tactical combat and RPG aspects. Again, the focus being you, Carter, battlefield commander in the battlefield. Now, I'm not going to do the whole schmaltzy demo thing, but I bet soon we're going to see some combat because of spoilers.
It's like you've seen this part before.
It's a couple times. So you can see Carter and her squad, taking some cover positions. We're going to get our first glimpse of the Zujari up close and personal, and some old familiar friends from XCOMs that come before in the form of the sectoids. In fact, in our game, the Zujari have enslaved the sectoids and brought them to our planet in their bondage. But don't feel bad for them because they're still little jerks. It's more like goblins in Iraq.
So the Zutari, I believe you called them, they're new for this game, right?
Yeah, the Zujari are a
there we go.
Brand new alien race. They're sort of a consuming enslaver race that's gone through the galaxy, sucking up planets, bringing them dry, moving on. They found Earth here in 62. You can see, we're getting right to the heart of the combat. So our star pilot today, our player right now, is going in and out of what we call battle focus. Now, it's a tactical combat module that gives you, fine control over your squads. When you first see it, you go, oh, look, hey, it's a radio wheel. I know, I've seen that before. But the amount of control that it gives you is actually pretty unique. You're able to do complicated movement orders, things like move to this flank, take the high ground, move here, issue target prioritization, whip up all the powers and abilities that you customize your agents with, and then basically cue these, either very simple, go here and punch them in the face plans, or complicated tactical actions. And you're going in and out of that sort of on the fly planning mode and keeping your own head on your shoulders in sort of, cover-based shooter mechanics as well. That interplay is really at the heart of what we're trying to achieve in the combat space.
Yeah, something that wasn't immediately apparent to me just watching the game was sort of how you can queue up actions. So, like, a lot of what I ended up doing was issuing a move order and then issuing, like, a focus fire order right after that, and then they would play out one after the other in sequence. Like, what are the limits to that system? Like, how many moves can you queue up at once?
I'm not sure if we actually know. We were just joking about this the other day because we've never really tested it. But we'll watch here. So we'll say, like, we'll bring up battle focus and right now, and we'll bring into a move order. Let's take the agent on the left. Let's issue a series of move orders, which is basically going to thread that agent from his cover piece here over to where Carter is. We're going to say, go to this cover. Now, and issue another move. We're sort of leapfrog up and piggyback. Go here. And this guy's going to thread each of these steps along the way.
Okay, that's smart, because sometimes I would issue a move order really far away, and they would sort of take an inappropriate route just out into the fire to try to get to cover. But this is sort of a way to work around that. Okay.
Exactly. I mean, what we're trying to achieve with our agent AI is like, buddy AI that's not like super stupid. Like, they're smart enough to take care of themselves and do some things. Yeah. But they're really relying on you to provide the coordinating brains to make sure that everyone's operating as a cohesive unit. And in fact, like, what we're trying to achieve is squad versus squad, small unit tactic gameplay. But we're swapping out, like, special forces, Green Berets versus Spetsnaz with XCOM operatives and aliens. Because
they're awesome.
Because they're awesome. So we're doing a slow leapfrog up the street. Now, it's really what's required from the player in the Bureau is to play like an XCOM player. So no Rambo-y, no just running out in the middle to get shot up. Coordinated tactics, leapfrog advances, trying to get interlocking lanes of fire, covering fire options, that sort of thing. Looking for flank bonuses, looking for height advantage bonuses. It's really, it's pretty amazing. It's really a real-time expression of that classic turn-based formula, with the goal to make you feel like this is what it feels like to be the battlefield commander out, in the field versus, back, watching all the action via UAV or somewhere, back home and safe. And that's the fantasy that we're trying to bring to the table. Our hope being that it forms a nice sort of supplement to the game, to the XCOM game, where you're used to being the all-seeing, all-knowing commander.
The Eye of God.
Yeah, the Eye of God, which is awesome. I mean, obviously, we like ourselves some XCOM.
Sure.
But it's giving that unique perspective. At the same time, trying to get a bit of the origin story of the organization and have a little fun with the period and the setting, like going to 62, going to Cold War, space race, arms race, conspiratorial governments. We just celebrated the Roswell crash landing anniversary. I don't know if anyone checked out the Google Doodle on that one, but it was cool. And really just have a lot of fun with the tropes and bring something new to enrich the XCOM universe.
So you were talking about sort of moving, having smart movement, smart positioning on the battlefield. Do those, like, if I've sent my squad mate out to flank an enemy and he does get into position, he does start laying down that flanking fire, like, are they getting actual damage bonuses and things like that for those smart tactics?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, flanking positions, height advantage positions have a statistical effect on the damage output for, like, weapons and powers. So, it works in your favor, it works against you. So, like, conceding that ground, conceding that advantage to the bad guy sort of brings it your way. So not only are we putting a lot of focus on just the amount of, squad control and the requirements of skillful play on the player's standpoint, but we're looking a lot at the enemy AI, the menagerie of aliens, and how they work as a cohesive whole, and what advantages they get against players that sort of let them take that advantage. One of the things we like to say is, like, you got to be a battlefield commander, man. Be a hero, or we're gonna hurt you. Not that we take it personally, but
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. There's a little bit of every designer and every AI that's ever killed a player. Somewhere someone's laughing and going, "I got you! I got you!"
They get a special little tingle every time it happens. Like, oh wait, I think you got him.
Yeah. Also, what you're starting to see down, as we get further down the street, is one of the goals of our static, which is to find this juxtaposition between 1962 as you know it and the corruption, the sort of xenoforming of the aliens themselves. And you see these fortifications and get that juxtaposition of classic 60s versus kind of a hard modern sci-fi aesthetic, and playing in the nooks and crannies in between.
Are there limits to healing? We just saw a squad mate go over there, take a dive, and one of his teammates went over there and picked him up. How many times can you do that?
It depends on your difficulty mode, actually. So on the easier difficulty modes, if you can get a guy to help a guy, then you're going to be okay. As you ratchet it up on the difficulty modes that we actually, frankly, prefer people to play on, veteran or commander.
Yeah, I think I put it on second from the bottom, so we're pretty easy right now.
Yeah, it's a good way to sort of get your legs underneath you as you learn the concepts. But as you go up, you'll say, your ability to stabilize an agent, which is basically go to him on the ground, make sure he doesn't bleed out. He won't get back up for the duration of the fight, and so you sort of get this cascade of woe that commences as guys start to drop, your resources go down, you're like, oh my god, what am I going to do?
I'm all alone!
Yeah, you can see at this point we've ranked up, so as you kill guys, you collect XP. XP lets you rank up Carter and his squad. As you go down the different rank up paths, you're able to personalize and customize, and you get these cool little tutorial videos that sort of explain what the new powers do, and a whole sort of government training vibe. We'd be like, greetings, soldiers of the U.S. Army, or greetings, operatives of the Bureau.
And you're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I can pick dudes up with my mind. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally realistic. Awesome. XCOM science. But we want to get that whole like stop, drop, and roll vibe, and you know, that sort of really
Duck and cover.
Yeah. Have the period help push through our narrative. So we're going to proceed a little forward. We're through this first fight. Our goal right now is sort of knock out this AA gun that's down the street, so that when we do meet up with the doctor, we're going to be able to recover him via Sky Ranger. Before we do that, looks like we're going to have a problem with the door, so one of our buddies is going to have to go to work, leaving us a bit short-handed. Now again, a game built on coordinated tactics. Anytime you're sort of, losing an agent in the battlefield or losing them to an event like this, we're basically saying, time to up your game. Get better tactics, think, get on the ball. And so we're going to see here, it gets a little bit harder when it's just Carter and one dude.
Now, the first thing that leaps in my mind is what happens if I'm just the worst player in the world and both my people were dead?
Right now, it'd be a very sad moment for Carter. It'd be a very bad moment. If you actually potentially deplete the entirety of your agent roster, all your backups, you can actually bring in resupply and certain difficulty levels, you'll get a game over scenario, because XCOM's a game about a team and one man survivor.
Yeah, one-man army just isn't quite going to cut it.
No, it really doesn't. In fact, when you play, you also realize, hey, it's just purely not that much fun to try to one-man army. Sure. Everyone coming at you, because again, they're looking for flanks, they're looking for height advantages, they're looking to spread out and come and get you. And all the different alien types sort of serve those different battlefield roles. Like here, we're taking out a shield commander. He's like a group buffer. So what we're also hoping, in addition to just going what are cool tactics, what are cool powers, is that people are parsing the battlefield, kind of doing a threat analysis of the different enemy types and who is the bigger threat in this particular instance, building that plan to defeat them and then
take out your high priority targets first and then work down from there.
Exactly. And so it's really just like it's true to XCOM, just like players, if they use smart real world tactics, if they think what would I really do if I had super science blasting out of my arm and awesome alien technology in a battlefield, it most likely will work for them. Certainly the alien technology part.
See, this guy, he's got the complete wrong idea. He was trying to Rambo it, trying to get up those stairs. Nope, see, it didn't work.
Yeah, he's showing you the folly. So what happens sometimes for these Zujari grunts is they'll actually just get pissed. Yeah. And they'll just charge you.
It's you know what? I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with you.
And it's pretty cool, because even in focus tests and what we've seen, sometimes people just freak out. They freeze. They're why is this guy charging? Oh, why?
We're supposed to be having this back and forth distance combat.
Yeah, so we're even in subtle ways across the AI types, we're always trying to make sure that we're looking at ways to not be formulaic, to change up, so that every little battle itself is sort of its own combat experience, and in the classic XCOM experience, its own story, the tale of this battle, the tale of this interaction.
So talk a little bit about sort of the scenario design for these missions, because in traditional XCOM, you usually get dropped in a place, there's a set number of enemies out there in the shadows, and you need to suss them out, take them all out, and then leave, and it's very much like that one contained encounter. Whereas in this, it looks like you're rolling out waves of enemies one after the other.
Exactly. So in the Bureau, there's a couple different ways that we approach this. So here in one of the primary operations, major quest line, it's going to roll slightly similar to, I would say, your traditional level concept, in that there's going to be set piece engagements threaded throughout the level with both scripted and dynamic encounter interaction that occurs, all being wrapped around and presented with sort of strong traditional narrative, whether it's radio messages, conversations, that sort of thing. And you're going to go through effectively a directed narrative experience. Now the combats are all basically designed to be combat puzzles, so they can unfold in multitude of ways. They'll react to things you do. They're not super static. They're not always going to be the exact same thing that's going to occur, because we're trying to respond to what happens. But that's how these roll. Now our side quests, or secondary minor operations, those feel a lot more like your classic XCOM maps, in that they're very small, self-contained, short, maybe 15, 20, 25 minute experiences on a sort of a single locale, or a single locale split across a few things, all under the same sort of meta theme. And that's quick, in and out, tag and bag, kill some guys,
solve the puzzle, figure it out.
Exactly.
In and out.
In and out.
Thank God. You men from the Army?
Tell me what happened to that girl. Maybe we can do something.
I don't know, but I seen it all around town. That was just before all this happened.
We might be able to get her to our doctors, but I can't promise anything.
That'll do just fine. We just gotta get out of here.
What happened to her?
Whatever got the other folks in town, got her too.
I'm looking for a Dr. Weir at the university. Heard of him?
Never heard of him, but I wouldn't hold out much hope. Campus got hit with some kind of bomb or something.
Damn. Any survivors?
I don't even know if it's still standing.
We have a mission.
You have to help us get out of here. You got something, don't you? Way out?
I'm sorry. We didn't come equipped to rescue civilians.
You can't just leave us here.
We can't afford to take survivors. Wait until dark and head out of town through the south. We cleared the way. It should be safe for a few hours.
Yeah, I bet you're sorry. Don't you worry about us regular folk down here. Go on with your mission. We're not gonna get any help, and we can't do nothing for Sarah. I say we get out of here, now.
You heard the G-Man here.
You're a fool, you know that? Goddamn fool!
Don't you talk to me like that. You...
Barnes, we're through the bank.
Run into any trouble down there?
Nothing we need to worry about.
Understood.
So we're going to round the
I left
corner
your
a little
resupply
bit
near the
more
barbershop.
as Carter gets a little bit more info there from Leon Barnes. So Mr. Barnes is actually our Sky Ranger pilot, so he's going to be the guy that gets you in and out of the hot zone. And he flies a multitude of craft. Some look like rotary helicopters that you're used to, others a little more fantastic.
Zombie barber there doing his job.
Zombie barber, poor sleepwalker, caught in the last moments before that
Of barbering.
before he got activated. Here, the little tutorial movie on this level is like, hey, resupply crates, you may want to swap weapons.
It's a box of guns.
Yeah, you can get new agents. Dudes pop out of this box. Why? It's video game.
Video games.
There's always the arguments about, oh, that's not realistic. But you know what's realistic? When players want guns, you give them guns. You don't give them a 25-minute cutscene to deliver the gun.
Well, you get back in your helicopter and you fly back to base. Then you got to talk to the guy and then come back.
Fill out the requisition form.
Sign some paperwork, you know.
But yeah, resupplies, they ammo you up. You can swap out equipment if you don't like your loadout. If you're like, oh, maybe I picked something wrong. You can even change out agent types as well on who's in your squad. Then you get back to action. Here we have, see, recruit new agent. They're like, please, get more agents. All right.
So how does recruit new agent work before we take off here?
On the easier difficulties, or in the game globally, I'll say that you're inside XCOM HQ, the underground layer. You're able to recruit different agents. You pick their customizations. You pick their class type: commando, engineer, support, recon, and customize them out, and then you have them out here.
So you can pick like what classes you're looking for.
Absolutely, you get to really sort of like custom loadout to your heart's content. Again, like our big thing is to not be super prescriptive to what the player should do. That being said, it will behoove players to round out across the class types to have a lot of tools in the tool chest, because things get kind of hard if you just go like, hey man, I'm the sniper dude, all snipers. Like, ooh, that can kind of work. And then, out here in the field, on easier difficulties, you're actually able to recruit out in the field to replace anyone that's died, because we're trying to be nice with their training wheels. On the real gamer difficulty,
Ooh, calling it out.
not that I'm judging, but on the realer gamer difficulty, like recruitment stuff, like if you run out of anyone on your backup roster and you're out in the field, like you're screwed. Here's a nice little fight. It's going to give us an opportunity to do an ambush. So we're gonna poster up our agents on flanking positions. Probably fire off a taunt, which is a cool ability to pull aggro. If you're an MMO kind of player, it's a good concept. We're looking for in the powers a lot of different battlefield utility. So what we want to get here is direct damage output powers like critical strike. Like look at find evil, shoot him in his face, as well as crowd control powers for pulling aggro, stunning, and then navigational things like I'm going to deny this area of the battlefield to you, and so you can do more crowd control. And then sort of deployment pet class powers too, so you can expand what your squad is capable of by dropping more new and more homies.
Will your squad mates use their powers independently?
Your squad mates will shoot guns, toss grenades, keep themselves safe. They're not going to blow their powers unless you specifically command them to. So you don't get in a situation where you're going to use that power and
you really need critical strike right now, but Billy decided.
Yeah. Billy was like, you know what?
He had other ideas.
That sectoid deserves this critical strike, and then you're staring down the barrel of a big baddie. Yeah. You also see some of the combinatory aspects of the enemy out here. So those little alien drones, which are
I hate these drones, by the way.
yeah, they were built to be.
I hate them so much.
Little tiny irritating wasps that mutually boost and buff each other, and they'll boost and buff enemies out in the battlefield, either healing them or shielding them.
And they'll also shoot at you.
They will also shoot at you as well.
Everything shoots at you.
It's like little tiny batteries included UFOs that you just hate. But we're trying to build each and every enemy type to sort of fill a battlefield purpose, and then based on what's deployed in a battle at any given time, you start to get its own sort of like combinatory experience of like, wow, okay, well these guys are going to be the foreground attackers, here are the flankers, here's the boosters, and the players has to parse and figure that out like we're talking about.
Just like how you have your your character classes and they have their own roles, the enemies also fall into certain classes and roles as well.
Exactly, yeah. We're really trying to get that sense of like there's two militaristic teams going head to head. They're quasi equal, or at least their advantages and disadvantages sort of cancel each other out to a degree. Who's smarter is really going to be the deciding factor. Who's clever.
Now earlier we saw a combo kill. Can you tell us a little bit about how that works?
Combo kill. Combo kill. So you get the combo kill ding, extra XP bonus anytime you're taking a guy out with like say 2 powers at a time, or a power that leads into like the equivalent of an alley-oop. Like I'm going to taunt you out of cover and then shoot you in the head while you're still aggro taunted. And that's just us trying to encourage the player to think more, like put it together, go past just a single fire off and then go and sort of look for opportunities to build these little plans and have them unfold. Speaking of building plans, we got a big threat coming through the door. It's a big armored muton.
Oh, it's our old buddy Muton. Yeah, he's gonna punch this dude. Yeah, that's what mutons do.
Bloody stumps. Yes, and pump the shotgun.
And the one-handed shotgun pump. It's so good.
So big old Mutons is right now at this state with level 1 agents and level 2 Carter. He's a game changer. He's gonna close onto the player. He's gonna get really close. He's gonna try to melee attack. If that fails, he's gonna shoot the shotgun. We're gonna have to do a good job of ping-ponging him between our various agents, so he can't get too close to any one of us. Yeah. Or
because nobody can hang out with him for too long.
No, he is not. He's not friendly. He's
not a buddy.
No, he's not. Unlike the sectoids, he's not enslaved by the Zujari, but he is serving basically as a mercenary. So he's in it for the money. Muton money. He's also sort of, in different degrees, we'll have mutons in armor that sort of an ablative plate mail armor. You got to shoot through it to expose their soft muton creamy center.
And it looks like that's kind of what we just did here.
Yeah, we just put him in his underoos, which is going to help us take him down and keep him cool in the temperate summers.
That's true. It's very warm out. Yeah, we are in Georgia, aren't we?
We are in Georgia. It gets hot out there.
It gets real hot.
It's hot. So like underroom muton is, he's feeling the breeze.
Feeling fresh. It breathes. That armor breathes, and that's important.
Yeah, you don't want it sticking. That's just horrible. But now he doesn't breathe anymore. No. We're gonna keep sweeping through this combo more. We're gonna clean up the remaining combatants. Luckily for us right now, with the sort of scale of this fight, the muton was the biggest threat here. We shouldn't have much difficulty taking these guys out. We do need to look a little bit at the battlefield itself, avoid the landmines that are out there, potentially try to use them for our advantage, as well as try to make sure that when we do something bold like super spread our forces across both wide flanks, that we're trying to keep in mind, like, if they were to drop, it could turn really bad for them really, really quick.
I'm curious to know why the decision to, when you're issuing those move orders and you can sort of see the shields popping up everywhere, why the decision to lock the camera to pieces of cover instead of just having it be completely free roaming? Because sometimes I'm like trying to go through a window or up over a ledge and I gotta work it around. It's a small gripe.
No, it's a fair gripe. The funny thing is, this is really one of those you can't please all the people all the time. Sure. It was a 50-50 war between the free roam, or the people that like the sort of utility and the focus of the snap to helping the guide in situations. And so ultimately we didn't quite just flip a coin, but we did some user testing. A lot of the feedback we got was the snap 2 was more functional more of the time for what people were looking for.
It reinforces the fact that you got to stay in cover.
Yeah, that was the other little bit, the sort of subtle psychology of how the game was telling the player what was more important to it than not. And so we went that way. But I get it. Some people are going to go like, I don't absolutely love this, but over time, I'm sure as you play, you start to understand how the rules, where the feel, where the sweet spot is, and it gets pretty smooth. Another combo kill, and like most XCOM games, it looks like it always is coming down to one more little sectoid.
That one sectoid in the very back. Thought he was going to be so clever.
Yeah, always. So that we're through a few more counters. we can keep going, but I don't know how you guys are on time or coverage.
I think we pretty much covered all the bases. You want to remind the folks at home when the game's coming out? You guys are right around the corner, isn't it?
Oh, man, we are in spitting distance. We are on mute-ton under-roof throwing distance. So we're coming out on Xbox 360, PS3, and PC August 20th in North America and 23rd internationally, man. And thank you so much for letting us show the game off today.
Hey, it was our pleasure. Congratulations and good luck with the launch.
Great, man. Thanks.